Do you ever consider the mental pressure athletes face while chasing their dreams and holding up our expectations? Welcome to a conversation that's long overdue. Today, we delve into a topic that's often overlooked in the world of sports: mental health. In the midst of the cheers, the adrenaline, the victories, and the defeats, there lies an unspoken challenge, an invisible battle that many athletes confront. It's a struggle that's often hidden beneath the physical prowess, the well-toned muscles, and the seemingly invincible nature of our sporting heroes. It's the struggle of mental health. There's a common misconception that athletes, with their sculpted bodies and impressive physical capabilities, are immune to the trials of the mind. We see them as gladiators, warriors, champions, but rarely do we see them as humans, with fears, insecurities, and pressures like the rest of us. Yet, the truth is, mental health is no respecter of physical strength or athletic prowess. Anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and other mental health conditions don't discriminate. They can affect anyone, even the fittest and the fastest among us. Mental health is just as crucial in sports as physical health. It's an integral part of an athlete's overall well-being. A sound mind supports a sound body. It influences how athletes train, how they perform, and how they recover. It's the unseen force that can make or break a champion. The purpose of this video is not to cast a shadow over the world of sports, but to shine a light on an issue that needs our attention. We need to start acknowledging that our athletes, while extraordinary, are also ordinary people who might be fighting battles we know nothing about. We need to prioritize mental health in sports, not just for the sake of our athletes, but for the future of the games we so dearly love. Because remember, even the strongest bodies can house troubled minds. It's time we pay attention. The field might be different, but the mental battles are often the same. This truth rings loud and clear in the realm of sports, where athletes of all calibers grapple with a myriad of mental health challenges. One such challenge is anxiety disorders. These are not just the typical pre-game jitters. No, we're talking about debilitating anxiety that can interfere with an athlete's performance and personal life. It's a crippling fear of failure, an overwhelming worry about injury, or an intense pressure to perform that can leave an athlete paralyzed with fear. Depression is another common mental health issue in sports. Imagine the emotional toll of a serious injury that puts you out of the game for months, or the crushing disappointment of a loss that cost you a championship. These experiences can lead to feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of interest in activities once enjoyed, all of which are hallmarks of depression. Eating disorders, too, often lurk in the shadows of the sports world. Athletes, particularly those in sports that emphasize weight or body size, may develop unhealthy eating habits in an attempt to meet these expectations. The pursuit of the ideal athletic body can lead to dangerous behaviors like extreme dieting, over-exercising, or even self-starvation. The mental strain athletes face doesn't stop when they step off the field. The pressure to perform can follow them into their personal lives, affecting relationships, self-esteem, and overall well-being. Injuries can bring about a whole new set of mental challenges, from coping with physical pain to dealing with the anxiety of not knowing when or if they'll be able to play again. And let's not forget about retirement, a period of transition that can trigger feelings of loss, identity crisis, and uncertainty about the future. Physical strength doesn't shield one from mental battles. These struggles are real and prevalent. They are part of the game, part of the journey, and an important aspect of an athlete's life that deserves attention and care. Because even the strongest bodies can house weary minds, and it's high time we acknowledge and address this reality. What happens when the mind suffers in silence? Imagine a marathon runner pushing through mile after mile, ignoring the pain in their knee. Eventually they may collapse, their knee giving out under the strain. We can easily understand the harm in this scenario. Physical pain is a signal that something is wrong, and ignoring it can lead to serious injury. But what about the mental equivalent of that knee pain? The impact of ignoring mental health issues in athletes can be just as devastating, if not more so. When we neglect our mental health, we're essentially running a marathon with a sprained ankle, pushing through the pain and hoping it will just go away. But it doesn't. Instead, the ignored pain transforms into something far more insidious. Depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders can lead to a decrease in performance, both on and off the field. Athletes may find themselves unable to concentrate, their reaction times may slow, and they may struggle with motivation. This can lead to a vicious cycle where poor performance exacerbates mental health issues, which in turn leads to even worse performance. Off the field, the consequences can be even more severe. Relationships may suffer as the athlete withdraws or acts out due to their untreated mental health issues. Their physical health may decline as well, with poor sleep, appetite changes, and even substance abuse becoming potential issues. In extreme cases, untreated mental health issues can even lead to self-harm or suicide. This is the tragic end of the marathon for too many athletes who felt they had to suffer in silence. This is why it is so crucial for us to recognize the symptoms of mental health issues early on. Just as we wouldn't ignore a sprained ankle, we shouldn't ignore signs of depression, anxiety, or other mental health disorders. Seeking help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength, a recognition that you're taking control of your own well-being. Ignoring mental health issues doesn't make them disappear, it amplifies their impact. How can we change the game for the better? This is the question we must ask ourselves as we begin to understand the profound impact mental health has on our athletes. The first step towards prioritizing mental health in sports is reducing the stigma. Just as we wouldn't dismiss a player's physical injury, we cannot ignore their mental struggles. We need to create an environment where athletes feel safe speaking up about their mental health without fear of being judged or sidelined. A shift in the way we talk about mental health can make a significant difference. Promoting open discussions is crucial. Coaches, teammates, and even fans need to be part of these conversations. We need to replace the outdated, tough it out mentality with a more compassionate approach, one that understands that athletes, like all of us, can experience mental health challenges. Creating a supportive network for athletes is another key strategy. This could involve mental health professionals working closely with sports teams, providing regular check-ins, and making sure players know where to turn when they need help. Athletes should have access to resources that address their unique mental health needs, from coping with performance anxiety to dealing with the pressures of fame. Moreover, we need to integrate mental health education into the sports curriculum. Athletes need to be equipped with tools to manage stress, maintain focus and resilience, and take care of their mental well-being. This knowledge is just as crucial as understanding the rules of the game or mastering a technique. We also need to remember that mental health does not exist in isolation. It is intertwined with other aspects of an athlete's life, including their physical health, diet, sleep, and relationships. A holistic approach, one that considers all these factors, is essential in supporting athletes' mental well-being. Change starts with understanding and action. It's time to prioritize mental health on and off the field. It's time to recognize that the strength of an athlete is not just about physical prowess, but also about mental resilience. It's time to change the game for the better. What role do you play in this game of mental health? As we've journeyed through the hidden struggles, common mental health issues, the impact of ignoring mental health, and the importance of prioritizing mental health in sports, it's clear that this is a game we're all a part of. Whether you're an athlete, a coach, a fan, or an occasional viewer, we all have a role to play in creating a positive and supportive environment for mental health in sports. This isn't just about the athletes, it's about every single one of us. It's about understanding that athletes just like us face mental struggles. It's about acknowledging that the pressures and expectations placed on them can often lead to serious mental health issues. So, how can you support mental health in sports? First and foremost, by advocating for mental health resources. This could mean pushing for sports organizations to provide mental health support for athletes, or it could mean supporting initiatives that aim to raise awareness and reduce the stigma around mental health in sports. But it's not just about advocacy, it's also about understanding. Understanding that athletes, despite their physical prowess and seemingly invincible exteriors, are human beings with their own struggles and challenges. And finally, it's about action. Not just talking about mental health, but actually doing something about it. Whether that's reaching out to an athlete you know who might be struggling, or simply being more mindful of the language you use when talking about athletes and their performances. In conclusion, mental health in sports is a team game, and we're all on the team. We all have a role to play in ensuring that our athletes, and indeed all of us, are mentally healthy and able to perform at our best. Remember, everyone has a role to play in promoting mental health in sports. Your move.